think about COVID and I think about retail, um, I don't think of it as just a threat. I think with e-commerce, I start to think about it as an opportunity. Has this accelerated the way you think about e-commerce or what you're planning there?
Totally. So, like you said, this crisis has accelerated many trends that were already underway, like remote working, online shopping, more technology penetration in stores, the increasing importance of localized supply chains. In light of these realities, I believe that post COVID-19 grocery transformation will be seen very quickly. Thus, every retailer has to take the time to rethink their business model to become more efficient, meaning less exposed to risks. So, very, very quickly for physical stores, one has to ask whether they can make their store model cashless or somehow cashless, enable more frictionless shopping experience. Are you using data to measure on shelf availability in real time? Are you using automated replenishment on e-commerce or online grocery vertical? Do you have a scalable technological backbone and delivery network that flex up and flex down as needed? And for the whole supply chain in general, have you adapted machine learning in forecasting so that you can spot those abnormalities fast and adjust immediately, so on and so forth. So going back to what we've been working on right now, currently my team and I are working on online grocery, and with this whole COVID-19, I think more and more food retailers have to explore different channels, whether e-commerce or on-demand online grocery applications.
So in North America, I mean, one of the things that strikes me is you've got 10,000 stores, almost all of them in Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Um, in North America, we talk a lot about winning the last mile, which means having products close to the customer. Are you guys thinking about dark stores or stores where they're partially open and partially you're doing picking in them, that kind of thing?
Sure. So, I mean, in April, we launched our app called A101 Kapuda, which is our mobile app. We first started in-store picking, which is often a grocer's first choice method because it requires the least change to infrastructure. But very quickly, the method is increasingly proved to be sort of flawed. So we now turn more to a viable option, which is wear rooms or dark stores. So basically, a wear room / dark room solves this problem posed by in-store picking by taking the picking out of the store. So it's basically a storage area that is a dedicated space to process online orders. Since we have 10,000 stores, we're not investing further into dark stores. In my definition, dark store is a different space outside of your store. Ware room, it's a part of the store. It's still on the store, but not on the shop floor. So it allows for more accurate inventory management. It saves space. It saves real estate cost, and it helps us optimize SKU management. So currently, we're in this stage where we're trying to find the right model that works with our big network. So I believe ware rooms might work well for us.
Right. And so now you're forecasting replenishment for different channels. Is
Correct.
Solvoyo forecasting both the replenishment of e-commerce and for the stores?
Yes.
Okay. Um, I've never been to Turkey, but I look at, I've seen pictures of traffic in Istanbul. How can you possibly get goods from your stores to the customer? How do you accomplish that?
Luckily, the logistics side of that business is quite, I mean, it's well developed in Turkey. So we have so many other startups that are already on food delivery, grocery delivery. So the third party logistic partners are already in place. I think here is what is the crucial question would be the big question is that which model you choose, whether you do this instant delivery, 10 minutes delivery, or delivery in different slots. Currently, we use only delivery in slots, meaning in previously selected time zones. But more and more, as all the other retailers started exploring this mobile go-to channel, I think we're gonna start introducing new delivery methods as well. So it would be what I'm talking about is using motorcycles, motor couriers, and minivans as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
with
yeah,
the
go ahead, Asena. You have some thoughts here?
motorbikes are very popular to
Yep.
especially get around the traffic issues. And of course, one advantage A101 has, as Erkan mentioned, there are 10,000 locations, so they are not that far away from the customers. Not every retailer has that kind of network, so they might, deliver, cover multiple, neighborhoods from a store, a specific dark store. But in the case of A101, even without the motorbikes, they are very efficient. I mean, I've personally experienced this. They're on time. They get there fast in full most of the time. And I see the improvement as a customer.
Right. And Asena, I don't think we talked about it, but in your digital twin, do you have transportation costs as one of the factors that you guys are looking at?
Yes, we actually do have a transportation solution as well. And so that's to manage, day-to-day operation transportation. Uh, and in our network design model, which is we consider as a strategic tool, where you are figuring out, the best placement of DCs or maybe dark stores if you're going to open dark stores. When that model runs, looking at actual demand, where people are shopping, where your customers are coming from, we can recommend DC or dark store locations to minimize overall logistic costs as well.
Erkan, for you, when we think about e-commerce and last mile deliveries over here in North America, um, a lot of folks are struggling with how do we do this profitably? E-commerce tends to be more expensive. In traditional retailer, I, Steve Banker, go in the store and I do my own picking. Now you have to pay somebody to do picking for me. I drive my own car and I pick my stuff up, right? I have the transportation costs with me instead of with you. How are you thinking about doing this profitably?
So I mean, we're gonna keep investing in technology and sort of start exploring how we automate the picking process in store. Also looking to with certain transformation partners, so-called, to scale up this process. So the key, like you mentioned, would be reducing the delivery cost. But honestly, picking is sort of easy for us since everything is merchandised in cases and we have limited assortment. So I think here the question is how we crack this, how to lower the delivery costs even further. Like Asena mentioned, we are already sort of in the last mile delivery zone with our stores, but identifying which stores will be on board with this app, with the mobile sales channel, would be crucial as well. So keep investing in technology, keep working with startups, with the right technology partners would be the key for us.
Yeah. So I think we're sort of coming to the end of the questions I had, but I want to open this up. Is there anything Asena or Erkan that we sort of glossed over pretty quickly that you'd like to talk about in more detail? Any final thoughts of things that I just wasn't smart enough to ask, but should have?
Well, in terms, we kind of touched upon the COVID, as an opportunity. And we do actually see that a lot of leaders and innovative companies did jump on this as an opportunity, because the level of inquiries coming to us about digital twins, about omni-channel planning, about demand sensing, analytics, machine learning has skyrocketed since March. So there is definitely a lot of interest, and it's a priority for a lot of companies now. And as I mentioned before, they need to kind of, besides just the vision, they also need to look hard into the operational and the IT capabilities, whether that vision can quickly turn into reality. So while the omni-channel and last mile delivery are very hot topics, it's not just the systems that are enablers of that. There is of course the whole operational leg as well that needs to kind of come up to par to keep up with the capabilities of the advanced analytics and planning systems can offer.
And Erkan, any final thoughts for you?
So I just want to revisit the questions about the most cost-effective way to manage a supply chain that can handle surges and disruptions. So in a very quick way, for literally physical stores, they have to become more tech savvy. For e-commerce and online grocery stores, one has to know the required investments to ensure seamless uni-channel experience. So what will be those required investments, and can you accelerate those required investments? And for the supply chain, basically, have you adapted machine learning in forecasting? And that would be it. That will help you to eliminate the risk of future shocks. So, like I said, a retailer has to take the time to rethink their business model and has to ask those questions.
Erkan, Asena, this was fabulous. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Always good to talk to you, Steve. And Erkan is always a good partner on these kind of conversations, since he's himself is so involved in the ongoing innovations that A101 is pursuing. And every time I talk to him, I learn yet another new thing that they're implementing. So it's always good to have these chats.
Thank you, Asena, for the kind words. Thank you, Steve, for having me.